Cory Johnson, hedge fund manager and host of the podcast, The Drill Down. Cory, thank you so much for being here with us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
So, Cory, we've been hearing the back and forth for months now. First of all, do you think this deal is actually going to go through?
Well, it's a big question whether this deal is going to come through. There seem to be more and more hurdles every single time the conversation comes up, whether it's hurdles from Elon Musk having trouble coming up with the financing, to Elon Musk deciding he doesn't want to do it, to Elon Musk being sued for not doing it, and now a national security review of all of Elon Musk's businesses, as reported by Bloomberg today, in addition to what you just heard about Twitter planning to just eviscerate an already demoralized staff. I think anyone who can leave Twitter probably already has.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the morale has been like and what is like today at Twitter. Can you tell us more about how cuts could impact the average user of Twitter? Should we be concerned? And does this potentially mean less security and more issues there?
I want to get to that, but I also want to say we don't have to imagine what's happening with Twitter. Twitter has told us itself in their financial filings that they are having trouble retaining employees because of the stress about this merger and because of the confusion about what's going on as to whether or not the company is going to be taken over and what the business model is going to be going forward. So to that, great question, what is the business model going forward? Elon Musk has said both publicly and in some private tweets that we got to read in a lawsuit about the merger or the potential merger, or the acquisition, was that he really believed that he wanted to allow a lot of the conversations that had been disallowed by Twitter. Now, he sees that as more free speech, and he's told Twitter employees as much in his meetings with Twitter employees. Other people see this as the toxic environment that turns off advertisers. So Twitter has also told us in their financial filings that advertisers are walking away from the platform because they don't know what the platform is going to look like in the near future. They're not making advertising commitments. Then we got bad news from Snap last night suggesting that they're having trouble selling ads in social media online. What it adds up to is a big mess at Twitter just because of the potential for this takeover, whether or not Elon Musk actually comes in to buy this money. Oh, let's also add to the money the problem that he's having trouble borrowing money. The banks are having trouble selling the loans to finance this deal. It's a hot mess.
A hot mess, I think, is right. And I want to circle back on something you touched on. You know, Twitter stock dropped today after reports that the Biden administration may launch a national security review of some of Elon Musk's ventures. So what would the feds be looking for, and could that still kill the deal?
It's really interesting. So Elon Musk's businesses have been very much aided by the government, whether it's Tesla getting billions, tens of billions in federal loans or grants to purchasers of the cars, or SpaceX's giant business with the federal government launching classified satellites. It's a very big business for SpaceX. It's an important federal business and federal tax breaks from Tesla. And now you have this involvement with a big international media platform. Worth remembering, 20%, only 20% of Twitter's users are here in the US. The rest are all over the world. We have seen both Elon Musk both talk about it publicly and also in some of these private texts. He's actually been communicating on Twitter with Vladimir Putin, or communicating with Vladimir Putin, communicating on Twitter with other members of the Russian elite during this war in Ukraine. And so the U.S. government has some concerns about what he's saying, who he's working with, and what his partnerships are, whether it's in Saudi Arabia, whether it's in Russia or beyond.
It's fascinating and complex, and we certainly appreciate you joining us to help us break it down. Cory Johnson, thank you. Well,
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.